What's good, PUBG Nation? It's your boy Survivor number 1 coming at you with another quick PUBG Sens video. This time we're going to go to movement sensitivity. This is the setting we're going to go over in this quick PUBG Sens video. And what this setting does is it determines kind of how quickly you get into a run from a standstill position, right? So we've dropped this down to 0. If I put a little amount of pressure on my left stick, pushing forward, you see I'm doing a slow walk, right? This is the same for backwards, left, right. Now this is me putting a small amount of pressure on my stick. If I push it quite a lot, you see I go into a fast walk, and then if I push it all the way to the farthest point, left, right, up or down, you'll kind of go to a somewhat fast walk. Now this is without me clicking the stick in, okay? So I'm not going into a sprint. This is just me moving the left stick forward. So say there's a box here you're trying to loot. You see you move your left stick round like that. Some people do it fast, some people might do it a bit slow. But if it's on 0 and you put a little amount of pressure on your stick, you're going to be moving about, not a lot. You're going to have to put quite a lot of pressure on your stick in order to kind of get a fast wiggle like that, right? So let's bump that up to 100. Always the best way to test sends is to test them at the absolute lowest and then the highest. And usually then, if you know what you're looking for, you can kind of ascertain what each setting does. But let's put this to 100. And then I'll put a little amount of pressure on my stick again. And you see how even with a little amount of pressure, I'm moving much faster. This is still a little amount of pressure on the left stick, moving it up, down, left, right, without clicking it in. Remember that part. So now if I put a tiny amount of pressure on my left stick, you see I'm doing a slow walk. If you watch back, this slow walk will be faster than it was when it was at 0. So in order to get really slow movement, the amount of pressure I have to put on the stick is, you're just never going to be in that situation where you do that. So what this setting does is, if you're standing in a spot here, a perfect example for this is, say there's a loot box here, okay? There's a loot box right here. You want to loot it, but obviously you don't want to stand still. I'd never recommend standing still. So you give your left stick a little bit of a wiggle, right? As you're normally pressing start and you're looting the box, you're moving your left stick round and round, okay? Now, if this value is too high, you'll probably end up moving a bit too much. With this setting also, it will change how you move past objects. Like if you put a little bit of pressure, this kind of coincides with the forward running sensitivity, right? So having that right is a good thing. I did a video on that. But with the movement sensitivity, if it's too low or too high, you'll have to put more pressure in order to move out the way of objects. Do you know what I'm saying? So if it's really high, a little press on the stick and you've moved out the way. But if your movement sense is too low, do you know what I'm saying? You'll come a bit more closer to edges like this. It's not too much for this setting. That's more the forward running. But again, a lot of settings do work in tandem with each other. So it doesn't appear to be much difference of having this setting on 30 than there is on 100, okay? It kind of kicks in at 30. Anything quite below 30, you don't get the full movement when you move your stick. And I found on 30, it seems to do the exact same as it does on 100. You just move like this. This is just like real, just subtle, not like really soft, but just, subtle movement of the left thumb stick. You will be moving like this, so I find 30 is a decent spot. Do bear in mind as well is when you're aiming and you're moving left and right, it will also affect that too. So if it's not like, if it's too low, you won't move, your character won't move much when you're, strafing while shooting. I don't know how it translates to TPP because it always seems like you're moving faster, but bear in mind, everyone wants to be harder to hit, but at the expense of your aim being a bit more faster. If you're, like my aim here, my 1x is not that fast, but if I'm moving, like strafing while aiming, you can see there's a little difference. So yeah, that's that setting wrapped up. So let me know if this video was good for you, if there's any other settings you'd like me to go through specifically, and I'll get that one out first. I'm going to go through a majority of the ones that need explaining. The response for the forward running sensitivity video was great. A lot of people said that it really helped them, and that's all it's for. I'm just here to help the PUBG console community. Had a few PC players ask, but the settings are different on console as we use a controller, and PC use mouse and keyboard, so this is really for, this is for console. But yeah, the fact that it's helping people is brilliant. That's all it is for. So if there's a specific setting you'd like me to help you with, just drop a comment in YouTube or hit me up on Twitter, which is at survivor number 1, and I'll get back at you. But that's me. Peace.